Hello, my name's Wilson. Today we'll be talking about the tank Sentry. We've been building the tank Sentries since the middle 90s. There's been some evolutions over the years, changes in the electronics in the sending unit, upgrading the tank penetration assemblies to fireproof fittings, as well as fittings that are suitable for water and waste. However, the principle of the tank Sentry has remained the same all through the years. What we're doing is we're measuring the hydrostatic weight of the liquid column. In other words, the deeper the liquid, the more pressure there is at the bottom of the tank. So if you can measure the pressure at the bottom of the tank, you can determine how deep the liquid is. We do this with what we call as a tank penetration assembly, which is basically this piece right here. That usually comes right off. This tank penetration assembly is part of the installation kit, and the assembly comes in a 6-foot length, and you cut it to the depth of your tank where it comes close to the bottom. Once you do that, the water column pressure is sensed by an external sending unit. We have no parts in the tank that move or can get damaged by water or fuel. The air tube from the tank goes to one of these sending units. One of these sending units is for each tank on the front of the display, so you need one sending unit per tank. Basically, you have power coming to the sending unit from the panel, and then the sending unit has one wire that comes back to the panel, which we call the signal wire, which is always white in color. This signal wire sends a variable voltage signal depending on the depth of the tank. Our stock units can measure up to about 144 inches, which is all 13-14 feet. We have two sending unit styles as far as application goes. They appear identical in appearance. If your tank is 32 inches or less, you want to use the shallow tank sending unit. And if the tank is more than 32 inches, up to about 14 feet, you use the regular sending unit. And we have one more special deep tank sending unit. And how many? It goes to
about 50 feet.
50 feet. Goes about to 50 feet, and that's typically a commercial application. Again, it works the same as this one. It's a little bigger because it has to have a slightly bigger compressor in it to pump through a higher water column. The difference, but what you're mostly going to see is this one and the one that says R. You can tell actually from a distance which one is which. The shallow ones are white on black, and the deep ones are black on white in color, so you can tell at a glance. We also leave a little window on the box of each sending unit, which is really a helpful feature. When you install a tank Sentry, if you write on the sending unit in this little box which tank the sending unit is for and how deep the tank is, anybody in the future that's doing any maintenance or diagnostic work will know which sending unit goes to which tank and how deep the tank is, which might save the technician from having to pull the tank penetration assembly out of the tank just to see how deep the tank is, because you can't always measure a tank on a boat from the side. It's not accessible. So once you get this information to the panel, you have a lot of choices now. You can do a panel like this one in the middle that is that has monitor only with no switches. You can monitor up to 6 tanks on one panel. You still need a sending unit for each tank, but you can do up to 6 tanks on one panel. This particular panel here has 3 tanks on it. That's why the middle light was off, the middle panel was turned off. This panel here and this panel here have alarm features on them. This panel here actually has a pump control feature on it, and this is actually what's operating this display right now. As I have the pump in automatic. When the water gets up to a certain level, it pumps it down. When it gets down to a certain level, the pump turns off, and it'll keep a tank empty for you. We also do a panel that looks just like this that's called a 1501 instead of a 1500, and it's designed to keep a tank full instead of a tank empty. This 1500 model to keep a tank empty would typically be used on a black water tank or a gray water tank, where you're going to automatically transfer it to another tank, or in the matter of gray water, discharge it overboard. The black water tank feature can be used for overboard discharge, and it gives you the option when you're out at sea where you're in a legally discharged area. You can put this panel in automatic and it'll keep your tank empty for you. When you return to port, you put the panel from automatic to hold position, and the discharge pump will not come on when you're in a no discharge zone. And then the top switch here is an alarm switch. I have it muted right now. If you notice, it's flashing, and if I turn the mute off, that's the alarm you hear, and once you're tired of the alarm, you turn it off.